Hey everybody, my name is Mohit and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing great. In this video, we are going to discuss an advanced problem on DSA doubly linked list which was asked in many interviews. So if you are preparing for any interview and for similar topic, then you can expect these types of conceptual question which can be used to check your understanding and grip over such topic. Okay, so without wasting any further time, let us first understand the problem requirement. So this question is all about swapping nodes in pairs. So if you consider this example, we have linked list with 4 node and this is the first node pointed by head. So as per the requirement, we have to swap the nodes in pairs such that the final linked list will look something like this. So earlier the order was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now first two will be swapped and then third and fourth will be swapped. Resultant linked list will look something like this. So 1 and 2 are swapped to 2, 1, 3 and 4 are swapped to 4, 3. So if we check next example, here we have a linked list with 6 node. So for this case, output should look something like this. We need to swap 1 and 2, then third and fourth node need to be swapped, and then fifth and sixth node need to be swapped. So resultant linked list will look like 2, 1, 4, 3, 6, 5. Now let us check the third example where we have 3 node. So in this case, total number of nodes are odd. So of course for some of the node we will not get pair, right? Like in this case we can easily swap first and second node, but the third node is alone, so it cannot be swapped. So it will come in output as it is. So this is the resultant output 2, 1, 3. And head will always point to first node of resultant linked list. Okay. So I hope you got some idea what exactly we have to perform. So to implement the logic for this, let me switch to Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is the same code what we have been using since our first video. So again we have two classes, node and doubly linked list. Inside node we have init method which will initialize few attributes required to create node object, and inside doubly linked list we have init method which will initialize attributes which are required to create linked list. Also inside doubly linked list class we have couple of different methods which you guys might be aware of, like print list and append method. Print list to print the value of linked list, and append in case we want to add a node in the linked list. So these two methods are like very common and which we generally use while testing our code. Okay, so now I will create new logic for swapping nodes in pairs. So I'll name this method as swap pairs. We'll put self keyword. Now if length of linked list is 0 or 1, in this case we simply don't have to do anything. We will return the linked list as it is. So we will write if self.length is less than 2, just return things as it is. Now first I will create dummy node with value 0 and we'll connect this dummy node with first node. So I'll write dummy.next equal self.head. So this dummy node is now connected with first node, and since we are going to swap the nodes, let me point head pointer to this dummy node for now. And once we are done with swapping, we will again move this head pointer to first node. Okay, now we will create a new pointer called current node, and this pointer for now will point to dummy node what we have created. Okay, now in order to swap nodes in pairs, we of course need to traverse through linked list in pairs, right? And in order to traverse through the node, that node must exist, it should not be none. So I will check while current node dot next. So in this case current node dot next is nothing but first node, and current node dot next which is first node dot next which is second node. These two nodes must be not none, right? Now once we have confirmed that we have valid node to swap we will now perform the actual logic to swap these nodes. Okay, so now I will write the required code inside this while loop in order to swap the nodes in pairs. So if you are able to follow my lines here, it's well and good. And if you're not understanding any line, then please don't worry. So till the time I complete this logic of swap pairs method, please be with me. And in the end, I will show you a presentation which will explain each and every line of this code via example very beautifully. So you can visually understand what is really happening in every line. So please don't worry. Just try to follow the line here. Okay. So once we have validated the two nodes which need to be swapped, I will create 3 pointers. First is previous node, which will point to current node pointer. Second is current node pointer, which will now point to, and third pointer is next node, which will point to current node dot next. Okay, so we have 3 pointers pointing in sequence. So this current node and next node are pointing to the nodes which need to be swapped, and the previous node pointer is pointing to its immediate previous node of these two pairs. Okay, so to understand these three lines, let us replace these 3 pointers with exact node values. So previous node is pointing to dummy node, which is 0. Current node pointer is pointing to node 1, and next node pointer is pointing to node 2. Okay, so first step I'll do is previous node dot next. So 0 will be connected with 2, next node, and 1 dot next, 1 will be connected with first node of next node pair, and first node of next node pair is next node dot next, and next node dot next, which is 2, will point to 1, right? So I'll write current node. Now previous pointer of next node, which is 2 dot previous, will point to dummy node, right? So I'll write previous node, and previous pointer of node 1 will point to node 2. So again, don't worry. If you are getting it here, well and good. I'm not expecting you to understand everything here, because when I discuss these line of code with slide, I'm 100% sure that you will get each and every line very confidently. You can visualize the things there, because I've created a slide in such a way that every line is being explained at its best. Okay. Now, once we are done with pointing the direction of next and previous pointers, at the end what we have to check, if we have any node after current node, because after swapping, current node will become last node of this pair. So it should point to next pair. And if there is any node, what we will do, we'll write 1 dot next. So 1 dot next is next node of another pair, which is 3 and 4. So 1 dot next will point to 3. So previous pointer of 3 should point to current node. I know this line is very confusing, but don't worry. Again, I'm saying you will get to understand each and every line very beautifully. Okay, so this step we will perform for all the nodes pairs available in this linked list. And once we are done and we don't have any node to swap, then it will come out of this while loop. And in the end, since we moved our head pointer to dummy node earlier, we need to move it to first node. So we'll write self.head equals dummy dot next. Okay, so whatever node present after dummy node, that one is nothing but first node, and self.head should point to first node. And now once our work is done, we will remove this dummy node from this linked list, because dummy node is not a part of linked list. We have created it in order to solve our problem. So we will put dummy.next equals none. So basically next pointer of dummy node is pointing to nothing. That means it has been removed from the original linked list. Okay, so yeah, this is our method that will swap the nodes in pairs. Now I understand that most of the part of this code was confusing, and you might not have got the clear picture what I'm doing here. So now our actual understanding process will start, and for that let me switch to my slide. Now we will understand each and every line of the method we created via this presentation. Okay. Now we want to apply swap pairs logic for linked list with 4 node 1, 2, 3 and 4. So first what we did, we created a dummy node and then we connected this dummy node with first node, and then we moved this head pointer to dummy node, and we created new pointer called current node which is currently pointing to dummy node. So these 4 steps what we have done, you can see it here. We have created dummy node with value 0. We have connected this with first node. We have moved this head pointer from this first node to dummy node, and we have created new pointer called current node which is currently pointing to dummy node. So till this 4 line is clear. Now coming inside this while loop, this while loop is checking current node dot next and current node dot next dot next. So current node is 0, 0 dot next is 1, and 0 dot next is 2. So this while loop is basically checking whether we have these 2 nodes available or not. So yes, we have these 2 nodes. So it will come inside this while loop. And now focus on these 3 lines. So inside this while loop, we are creating 3 pointers: previous node, current node and next node. For this line, previous node will point to same node where this current node pointer was pointing to. So earlier current node was pointing to 0. So now previous node will point to 0. Now for this line, current node will point to 0 dot next. So 0 dot next is nothing but 1. So current node is this green pointer which is pointing to 1. And next node pointer is pointing to 1 dot next. So 1 dot next is 2. So this yellow pointer is pointing to next node. So we have to swap the nodes which is pointed by this green pointer and yellow pointer, right? Since this is first iteration, previous node is 0, current node is 1, next node is 2. So from now onwards, wherever we will see previous node, we will say it as 0. We'll replace current node with 1. We'll replace next node with 2 for better understanding. Okay. Now the swapping logic start. So first what we are doing, previous node dot next equals next node. So 0 dot next equals 2. Right? So 0 will point to 2. Just replace the pointers with exact value. It will be easy to understand. Next what we are doing, 1 dot next equals 2 dot next. So 1 will point to 2 dot next. 1 will point to 2 dot next is 3. 3. Okay. Now for next line, next node dot next equals current node. So 2 dot next equals 1. 2 will point to 1. Now coming to next line, next node dot previous equals previous node. So previous pointer of 2 will point to 0. So previous pointer of 2 will point to 0. That's what we have observed here, right? Now coming to next line, current node dot previous equals next node. So previous pointer of 1 will point to 2. Previous pointer of 1 is now pointing to 2. Okay. Now in the end what we are checking, 1 dot next. So after 1, if we have any node or not. If we have any node, we will run this line. So if you see this part, after node 1 we have another node called 3. So it is not none, right? So this line will be executed. So what this line says, 1 dot next dot previous. So if you observe this part, 1 dot next. So 1 dot next is pointing to 3. Now previous pointer of 3 will now point to 1. So previous pointer of 3 will now point to 1. This is the meaning of that particular line. It was tricky, right? See this step why we are doing. So let's say for another pair of nodes which we are going to swap, let's say there is only one node. We don't have pair of nodes there. So of course the while loop logic will check and it will come out of that while loop. So in order to avoid this missing this previous pointer of this next node, in our previous iteration only we are taking care of it. Okay. Now so our first iteration is done. So if you observe this part, 1 and 2 are now swapped and we have successfully connected all the pointers to its correct position. Okay. Now we will move to another pair of node, which is 3 and 4. So first iteration is done. Again this while loop will check this condition. So the condition is current node dot next. So current node is nothing but 1. So 1 dot next. 1 dot next is 3, and then this part is 3 dot next, and 3 dot next is nothing but 4, right? So this while loop is basically checking whether we have a pair of node after this current node or not. So we have 3 and 4, right? So based on this one, this is 3, this is node with value 4, so it is not none, so it will again come inside this while loop. Again first focus on these 3 lines. Now the previous node will replace current node pointer. So we have already seen this 3 and 4 is not none, and for second iteration previous node will replace current node pointer. And what is current node pointer? It is 1. Similarly this current node will point to 1 dot next, so current node will become 1 dot next is nothing but 3, so current node equals 3. And next node will become 3 dot next, so 3 dot next is nothing but 4. If you see this one, 3 dot next is nothing but 4, so next node is 4. Okay, so after first iteration, when we start our second iteration, previous node will now point to 1, current node will now point to 3, and next node will now point to 4. Okay, so again we have to swap nodes pointed by green and yellow pointer, which is current node and next node. So let's start our process again. So previous node dot next equals next node. So previous node is 1 dot next equals next node is 4. So 1 will point to 4. So previous node is 1, 1 will point to 4. Then for this part of line, 3 will point to 4 dot next. If you say this linked list, 4 dot next is none, right? So 3 will point to none. 3 dot next will point to none. Now coming on this line, 4 will point to 3. 4 dot next equals 3. Now coming to next line, previous pointer of 4 will point to 1. So previous pointer of 4 is pointing to 1. Now for this line, previous pointer of 3 will point to 4. So previous pointer of 3 is pointing to 4. Okay. Now coming to this if statement, 3 dot next, we will check whether we have any node after 3 or not. So if this condition satisfies, then we have to run this line. So if you see here, 3 dot next is none, so we don't have any node after 3, so it will not come inside this if statement. So this iteration 2 is done, correct? So now current node is 3 and next node of current node is none. We don't have any node after 3. So after this iteration 2, this while loop condition will be false. It will not satisfy this condition because current node dot next is none. So it will come out of this while loop. Now earlier, if you remember, we moved this head pointer to dummy node, right? So now it should point to first node of this linked list. So what we will do, we will move this pointer to dummy dot next. So dummy is 0, this node dot next is 2. So head will point to this first node, which is 2. Okay. And now this dummy node is not a part of linked list. We created it in order to solve this problem. So now we have to remove it from the original linked list. So for that, what we can do, next pointer of this dummy node will point to nothing. So currently next pointer of this dummy node is pointing to 2, but after this line, next pointer of dummy node will point to nothing, like this. Okay, so it is pointing to nothing, so it has been removed, and we are done with swapping logic. So now you can see original linked list was 1 2 3 4, now it has become 2 1 4 3. This is how the new linked list will look like: 2 1 4 3, and head is pointing to first node. And this is what was expected from the requirement. Okay, so I hope now you might have got a better picture of what is happening in that particular logic and how the nodes are getting swapped. Okay, now it's time to test this function, whether this method is working correctly or not. Okay, so what I will do, I will call this doubly linked list class. I will initialize this by creating a node with value 1, and then I will append these 5 nodes. So it will create a linked list with value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So let me print the value of nodes. Okay, so it has created a linked list with value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we have to call our swap pairs method that we just created, and this method will swap the linked list, and then again we will print node values in order to check whether the swapping has been done or not. Here I will print before swap, and here I'll put after swap. Now let me run this code. Great. You can see these two values are swapped with 2 1, 3 and 4 are swapped with 4 3, 5 and 6 swapped, and the value is 6 and 5. Okay, so the original linked list value was 1 2 3 4 5 6, and after swap the value is 2 1 4 3 6 5. Okay, now let me check our function with odd number of nodes. So we will create linked list with value 1 2 and 3, and then we will call our swap pairs method, and we will again check whether the value have been swapped or not. See, 1 2 and 3 has been swapped to 2 1 3. So this is what was expected. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We will meet in our next video with a potential and a practical interview question, so please stay tuned. Till then, take care.